Today I'll be making a blackberry lavender yogurt. I'll start by cooking the blackberries and the lavender and making a nice sauce, and then I'll strain it, mix it with the yogurt, and set it in the freezer. Over medium heat, I'll add a little bit of butter. You can use any oil, or you don't have to use oil necessarily in this, but I like it because it makes a nice thick sauce. I'm going to add my blackberries. There's a few stems in here, like leaf pieces. I can pick them out, but keep in mind this is going to be strained, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm going to add a couple leaves of sage as well. I think this will make a nice flavor, and I'm just going to add all of these lavender. I'm just going to add them like that and let this cook down, and some of the juices will start to come out, and then I'll make my sauce. This is cooked for about 5 minutes, and you'll notice that the juices are starting to come out of the blackberries. What I'm doing as I'm stirring is I'm mashing them gently so that the juice comes out, but they don't splatter all over. And that just adds to the sauce. And in a few minutes, I'll start adding my other ingredients. Now that this is cooked for another 5 minutes, you can see most of the juices have been released from the blackberries. Now I'm ready to add my other ingredients. So first, I'm going to add some brandy. It just helps to make a nice sauce. It's going to burn off, so it's not going to be in the ice cream. The alcohol won't be in the ice cream, but a little bit of the flavor will be. I'm not going to add too much. It was less than a shot. I would say not even half a shot. Just a little bit to give it some flavor. And be careful when you're pouring that in, because if your flame is too high, it'll catch fire, which is fine if you're expecting it, but if you're not expecting it, it could be a real problem. In addition to that, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. This is going to be to taste. It just helps to bring the flavor of the berries out. I didn't add that much. I'm using kosher salt, so I just put some on a plate, and I'm just kind of putting a little bit in. I'm going to add a lot of lemon juice, and I'm going to use this so that I don't get seeds in it. Of course, this is going to be strained, so it doesn't really matter. Oops, that wasn't good. Let me try another one. I put it on the lime setting, and that was too small, so I'm going to do it this way. You can do it either way. Nice juicy lemon from our tree. I'm going to keep this because I'm going to put some zest in there as well. Lots of lemon juice to brighten up the flavor of that blackberry. Yeah, I kind of made a mess with it, but that's okay. I'm going to wash it anyway. So now I'm going to zest this. The zest just gives it a different flavor. It kind of brings out the oils in the skin. You can either use a zester or you could use a cheese grater, or you could use, I have a little plate that sometimes works really well too. I'm going to just add a little bit of zest and taste it and decide. Sometimes it gets stuck on here, so you just rub it off and get it off. Alright, now I'm going to let this cook a little bit longer, and then I'll strain it. I found the best way to strain this is to just put it in the strainer and then let it sit for a long time. You can mash it down, but it just takes a long time. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to let this sit while I go do something else. Now that this is strained out, I'm going to set this aside, and I went ahead and pulled out like 3 of the lavender flowers because I wanted the ice cream to have, or the yogurt, to have a definite lavender flavor, not just blackberry. So I'm going to set this aside, and these are the lavenders that I pulled out. So I'll just put those in. Then I'm going to add my sugars. There's a couple different kinds of sugar I'm going to add, and I'm just going to do this to taste. I'm going to add some of this Swerve brown sugar. I think it makes a nice sauce, just a little bit. And then mostly I'm going to use this monk fruit and erythritol from Costco. I'm going to put quite a bit in because although the blackberries are really good, they were pretty tart. So I'm going to put in maybe, looks like about half a cup. I'm going to use 2 different kinds of yogurt because I'm almost out of this one. This is the Greek yogurt from Costco, and then I'm going to need a little bit more, so I'm going to use this from the grocery store that I got. Let me grab a spoon. Pour all of this in, including the water that comes with the yogurt. That's totally fine. And as I suspected, I'm out. So I'm going to add a little bit more. Brand new, so I take the top off. I'm going to grab a new spoon because I accidentally got blackberry all over my spoon and I don't want to get blackberry all over my yogurt. So I'm going to add a couple more spoonfuls to get to the top. I'm going to adjust this based on how much I need, but before I do that, I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla bean paste. It goes really well with the fruits, with the different yogurts. Maybe about a teaspoon. And I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla jello pudding. Helps with stabilization because I didn't use full fat yogurt. I want to make sure I have enough so that it doesn't, so that it creams up nicely. And now I'm ready to mix this up and taste. After mixing everything together, I tasted it several times and it tasted like it needed something. It was good, but I just kept thinking it needs something a little bit more. I think the key was that I added a lot more lemon juice. I took another lemon, squeezed the whole thing in there. I did not put any more of the lemon zest. I just did the juice, and I added a bit more salt, and I think that helped to bring the flavors out. The blackberries have such a strong flavor, and it was kind of one-dimensional. Of course, as the lavender blends up after freezing, it's going to give it more of a lavender flavor as well. So I think it's going to be really good now. I think I got the balance right, so we'll see tomorrow. I've frozen this for almost 24 hours and I'm ready to spin it. This is a yogurt, so I'm going to spin the whole thing on yogurt setting. But before I start, the top has a little bit of a bump, so I'm going to scrape that off and then I'll run it. After spinning this on the yogurt setting, it looks perfect. Now I'm ready to serve it. The texture feels good. This is what it looks like. It's very bright pink. It's pretty. So now it's time to taste it. Surprisingly, it is a little bit icy. That's the first time that I have made a yogurt ice cream or frozen yogurt that's been icy. My guess is that one of the yogurts I used was non-fat. I thought I'd used enough of the full fat to make it up, and I believe I put a stabilizer in here. So I guess I didn't use enough. What I'm going to do is melt this down, add a little bit of guar gum, not too much, and refreeze it, and I think it'll be just perfect tomorrow. The flavor is very good, but it just has a little bit of iciness, not a great texture. So that's okay, they don't always work out, but at least we know how to fix them.